By the way, congratulations to them for their success here today. But more than anything, oh wait, we got the draft going here already. Cloud9 says, guess what? We don't care. You're not playing Zeratul. They took it. Round 2. Cognitive actually is going to open with the false step ban. That's the first time K1's going to be off of this. Really good target ban there coming out from
absolutely.
them. That's their first pick prioritization. Expecting Zeratul ban still coming into play here. And then bam, Cognitive goes, we're going to take Tyrande. They're going to play that hyper aggression comp. Okay, so what does this mean for Cognitive? Honestly, I don't want to get too hyphy with it here, but I'm just gonna say that
you can get hyphy. Do it.
Is a little bit of this. This is today seems to be the day where Glaurung literally gets to play every hero he's ever been known to play. I'm gonna say, well, okay, Stitches is still up. That's something Cloud9 needs to worry about here in the draft. Obviously, they're gonna be right now. I guarantee they're saying, do we take Stitches here? Do we take Stitches here? Jaina being in a great option for them as well. Thrall, Zagara. There's so many big heroes up on the map right now. Sonya's still gonna be their 100% their go-to. I don't dislike it. I don't know if I totally love it. There we go. Stitches deny pick. So Stitches has been taken. Zeratul is going to be taken as well. What is Glaurung still absurdly known for?
Are you talking about Kerrigan?
Most likely.
I think we're going to see. You know what? I'm not
saying it's going to happen. I'm just saying it's an option. Something, if today's pattern holds true towards his history of success in Heroes of the Storm, we're going to see that deep Kerrigan coming up from Glaurung here. Okay, so we do see the Stitches. We see the Sonya Kel'Thas. Looks like it's going to be hovered here. Great damage dealer. Faye, awesome with that backdraft last game, confirming a lot of kills.
Absolutely.
With that Zagara being picked up. These are the huge powerhouses. So Cognitive kind of going with that meta powerhouse. Keep in mind, they haven't paired anybody with Tyrande at all, at least not typically where you see okay, you have the ETC, okay, you have the Murden, we got the Dibbles. They haven't taken any of those heroes. What I would like to see is number one, Zagara is on the map. Lunar Flare does well with the follow-up. The Diablo band. Okay, that was huge. So the Diablo band, what I wanted to say was Diablo Tyrande together in the early game, awesome. You know what's even better is Maw into APOC in the late game. That is terrifying. And so that was what I would like to see out of them. C9 with the heads up band there out of them. So absolutely awesome. But the Jaina looks like we're going to go with. I like that band. Not only is it a target band in K1 Pro, this is also a pairing synergy with Sonya. It works really well. It's good follow-up for Stitches. Just overall, universally great band.
I have nothing to add. There was so much factual information that just came out of your mouth. I'm sitting here writing a novel called Things Dreadnought Knows, and I am running out of ink, my friend. You absolutely destroyed this draft so far.
All right.
I'm really excited about the draft that Cognitive has managed to put together. Tyrande, Kel'Thas, Zagara. These are the heroes that when you say, who do you want? If you could have anybody as far as your Assassins and support goes, pick for Cursed Hollows, who you're going to grab. These are 3 names that show up at the top of your list.
Excuse me, you can go ahead.
I was just going to say, for Cloud9, I think they've showed Dunk Train on that the medic so much over the last couple of games. It wouldn't surprise me to see them again. You know, it's been doing a great job. It's just when she was getting hooked out of position, it was causing a lot of problems. But it looks like they are going to pick up Tazadar so they can get that Stitches Wall combo again.
Yeah. So this is the fish in the barrel kind of concept where you do provide the extra vision. We'll see if she gets the cooldown reduction here on Cloud9 to get that sight. So then the hooks come out, the force wall in this chokehold. It synergizes with the Sonya. You have the Super Sonya, you have sight, you have Stitches, fish in the barrel, Rainer for the extra damage. Beautiful comp coming out from Cloud9. What I wanted to talk about a little bit there was, I forgot what I was going to say, something about the draft from, okay, so what I was talking about was, what I wanted to cover was how Bob Ross fan club, a Heroes Rising versus Cloud9, because of their draft prioritization, by the time it got to game 5, Cloud9 panicked when their back was against the wall and drafted so what they wanted rather than what was actually good at the time.
Right
to where you saw them drop that kind of final game here. I wouldn't totally believe it 100%, but it would be a follow-up here. Let's go. But what that did is in this draft, it actually gave Cognitive such a powerhouse picks like Kel'Thas and Zagara on the same team, which is really uncommon. They do lock in the Thrall and ETC. Do you actually think this is serious? I think.
Do you actually think this is serious?
Okay, it's an option, but I think all in the hook too much. I think
you're wrong. There it is. Brightwing locked in. She's doing it.
Okay, well, you know, I think this is good. Brightwing's awesome, right? She's got the split pushing potential that she has now, that she with that minor buffs to her Q. That's going to be really great. She has decent heal potential. She's an awesome healer. She's a great follow-up to Stitches. One of the things I am worried about, Zagara, high amount of damage. Thrall, absurd amount of damage. Kel'Thas, absurd amount of damage. Tyrande synergizes with damage dealing compositions. It is a counter to ETC because it does provide that, and also the poly as a follow-up to Stitches. It pretty much 100% ensures the kill. So I think it's absolutely great. I'm afraid that at this point, their comp is so hook oriented. If a hook doesn't come down, them being able to dictate a team fight is very, very low. So like imagine this picture, Mr. Bob Ross, I'm going to return the favor.
Paint me that
Stitches
picture.
misses the cooldown, suppose 16 misses his hook. That's 16 seconds where if Cognitive initiates on them, they're going to have a really hard time succeeding with these team fights. So I'm not saying that I frown upon the Brightwing pick. I just think that it makes their comp very very straightforward. So how do I say this? It is narrow-minded almost, if you will.
Were you going to say it's a one-trick pony?
I don't think it's one-trick pony. That's 2 BM
Wow.
and just like I don't know.
No,
but either way,
I'm not trying to be BM. I just mean like, of course, Stitches, if he misses that hook, they need something else to be able to engage, to be able to secure. I, for one, if I may use the word, I am elated that Brightwing has, if I could break it out for just a second, I'm elated that Brightwing was picked, because you know how long it's been since we got to see everyone's psychotic fairy dragon spouting out about murder and making people's insides their outsides and such. It's time that Brightwing make a comeback, and who better to bring them back into the meta than Cloud9?
Absolutely, and Dunk's a great. Actually, we're gonna see Arth is gonna be playing this Brightwing. Keep in mind, at least he has it hovered for the time being. Although I know from my past playing with him, he loves the troll in the lobby. But no, it's gonna be Arthon is gonna be on this Brightwing. Hype boys. That means I think that's gonna mean that Dunk Train is gonna be on the Tassadar here. Overall, it's gonna be really important to see how well Arth can pull out this split pushing mixed with his soak. I want to see what his build's gonna be as well, especially post 16. Is he gonna look for Critterize? Is he gonna look for greater polymorph? Do they want the kill potential? Do they want the utility? A lot's gonna come into play. I think it most likely will be increased polymorph, greater polymorph there at 16, but who knows?
Redknot.
All right.
Do you hear that?
Yeah, actually I do.
It's the hype train, and it's pulling into the station. We've got Cognitive, we've got Cloud9. This is game 2 of 3. Game 3 of 3. The winner of this is going to be moving on. The loser going to go home and wonder what went wrong. I am super excited to get this game underway, and as I say that, on the left side, we have Cloud9, Dunk Train on Tassadar, King Caffeine on Stitches, K1 Pro on Raynor, I Dream on Sonya, and Arthalon bringing it up on our favorite psychotic fairy dragon, Brightwing.
Absolutely, and then on the right side, we have Cognitive. They have pulled out a beautiful game that last game. We'll see if they can carry over that momentum against Cloud9. Definitely pulling the great plays against them here into game number 3 to try and qualify here for the spring qualifier. We have Faye is going to be on the Kel'Thas once more. Kithon Luck going to be on the Zagara. Iacona is going to be on the Tyrande. Caterpillar on the ETC. And we see Galarung is going to be on that Thrall.
And it looks like everybody is heading to the middle here. Always interesting to see what people are going to do to start off. King Caffeine looks like he was coming in. Wow. Caterpillar, everybody going on to Sonya here. It looks like she is going to go down before they have a chance to react. Fantastic early pick from Cognitive, who is here to play the game.
Exactly. I mean, when you look at the situation, when you look at the situation, they essentially have a murder CC-oriented single target blow-up comp, and they all kind of trickled into a party shrub at level 1 there. I think Cloud9 kind of showing a little bit of panic maybe in their decision-making as a team, using Arthalon to split push in the top lane here. But again, he's going to be very susceptible to this kill. The dog's going to come out. I think that's going to be it for Arthalon.
They knew exactly where Brightwing was. Glarong not tipping his hand. Great poker face, just chilling there, not going into that bush. Makes the guess, makes the kill, and that is a 2-0 so far for Cognitive.
Okay, so there's a couple of things that I really want to harp on when it comes to the comp. What I was talking about, also I was told by a awesome fan that the word I was looking for with this linear comp, not closed-minded or narrow-minded.
Gotcha.
It is a very, but anyways,
comp,
so what I want to talk about is look at Tassadar, level 1 talent, increased side storm range. So that's going to mean he's looking to delay Brightwing to get maximum value in her split pushing here. That's where that fish in the barrel strat that I was talking about comes into play. You delay, you get sight, look for hooks, you get Brightwing to TP when you do, but in the meantime, you're soaking with Brightwing, and she's going to TP on the Stitch when the hook lands, while sight and delay comes from the Tassadar. That's the comp that I was talking about here, and Cloud9 bringing one back from a very long time ago out of their playbook. They have kind of fallen behind a little bit with this single target damage. Nobody looking to maybe move to the Mercs, at least quite yet for this first tribute, but that is the key of a good team right there, understanding what they need to do to win the game with their comp, and not taking this boring, strategic, basic compositions that everybody else does. Dunk Train understanding what his role is in this game and taking Overlord at level, or Overload at level 1. Excuse me. Giant's gonna be picked up here for Cog, but nothing too crazy here yet right now, Josheb.
Definitely. And up top, the first tribute is going to spawn. That is going to be heavily favoring Cloud9, as Cognitive is pretty much all down at the bottom, wrapping up on the Siege Minion. However, that is going to give them a fair amount of split push if they do decide they're going to contest here. Glowring with a great dodge. Dunk Train is already on it. Fantastic interrupt there from Tyrande prevents him from getting the early grab.
Absolutely. The longer this goes to, Raynor getting caught out there, it's going to be K1 Pro's life there. Oh, man, that's worst case scenario for Cloud9. They committed the same amount of resources as the opponent. They're not getting an advantage on. Okay, so here, Arthlon's on bottom to solo defend against the Zagara and Giants. Not going to happen. Meanwhile, they rotate the tribute. They lose the tribute and they lose a kill. Cognitive gaining half a level lead and an advantage on all fronts at this point. Meanwhile, in the top lane, looking for the game care, but beautiful play from Cognitive. Just, I mean, honestly, a level lead now. I don't think that's totally accurate because the XP waves are a little bit split here, but pretty much they are C9 is losing this game right now at all fronts, and like I said, I feel like their comp in the later half of the game is too hook oriented. It doesn't mean that they can't, because all it takes is one hook. Larong with that taunt, trying to get that force out of them. Really cocky up there, but I like it. But again, it's going to come down to the hooks in the late game. We'll see how it plays out.
Oh, they do manage to get the body block there into Sonya. She's going to try and spin to win to get out, but it's not going to be enough. Her blades go flying into the air, and a lucky souvenir for whoever manages to find those.
Absolutely, and one of the turrets here is going to be drained on top. They're going to look to push this front wall. Actually, Tribute is going to spawn, so they're just going to take this out, drain both of the turrets. Maybe with the minion wave pushing this hard, might end up getting a turret in the long run. There you go, Glowing turning around, trying to force this turret, and then he's going to back out, ensuring his team gets an XP advantage. I really like that choice from him. Only because they have a man down, they can abuse this. He's actually going to stay for the most part all up here. The global is on bottom for C9, so they aren't going to get a split soak advantage here, and they're down to talent here. Looks like they're giving it up. Cognitive with the early rotation apparently being intimidating enough to scare their entire team. Other interesting things about the builds this game. Level 1 going to be Empower, and then Pierce going to be taken for the beautiful delay from Cognitive, excuse me.
Stitches is caught out here, by the way. It looks like he is probably going to be able to keep himself up thanks to the quick thinking from Brightwing. Fantastic grab onto Faye with the follow-up polymorph, and it does look like she is going to go down. Fantastic heads-up play from King Caffeine there to turn a negative into a positive and grab a kill.
Yeah, and that's that kill potential from the Brightwing. The minute that they get hooked, it's so hard to survive after the polymorph comes out, especially in the late game. That polymorph is 16. If he does go the Greater or the Criterizer, either way, it is a really hard situation to deal with if you are going to be with Cognitive. So avoiding the hooks at all costs is really important there. Keep in mind, mental acuity going to be taken by Tassadar. So and then static charge as well, hinting at an Archon decision making possibly here, or at least a little bit more damage out of Tassadar, knowing they're a double support and little low on damage. King Caffeine juking
great
two combos
juke
here.
However, the body blocks are going to prevent him from being able to do anything here. Brightwing zooms in just in time to watch Stitches die. Yes.
Yeah, and they're going to have the creep delay there with Zag. Nice. They have an owl as well with Pierce, so this is going to be a delay. They're going to get aggressive positioning. Sonya's staying on top. This is going to be a given up tribute. To see how Dunk stays around to try and delay, that's what he's good at with his type of build, and that's what he's going to be looking to do later in the game when he does have all 5 people up. But Cognitive, just running their comp, running that face roll, smash the keyboard, kill whatever's in front of you comp really well right now.
They are doing a fantastic job with it. Faye, outside of getting caught out there, has done an excellent job of avoiding the ganks. Of course, being the squishy target, they're always going to want to find her and isolate her. But up at the top, we do have Glowing and iDream just kind of trading back and forth. Right now, I'm just happy with the creep that Colin has managed to get down here. If a tribute does manage to spawn down here, they're going to have excellent vision on it. But so far, both teams showing fantastic chops, but the level 10 advantage is going to go to Cognitive.
Yeah, and the Giants are now going to be captured, going in favor of Cognitive on the lower half of the map while the tribute's about to spawn. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw maybe, okay, the tribute's going to spawn to where boss isn't an option. Positional advantage of this is going to be in favor of Cognitive. You're going to see probably Arthlon rotate down to bottom while Raynor moves up. Actually, because they're so close to 10, they're going to give it up. Faye, aggressive positioning, look to possibly get a Fang here. She does have Phoenix, no Prio Blast, so the 1v1's going to be a little bit hard. Iacona not even taking the ultimate yet.
It does look like Caterpillar is doing fantastic snag there from Stitches. Unfortunately, they don't have the follow-up without Brightwing. Brightwing is zooming in, however. He is forced to pop Bile to make sure that they don't give chase. But fantastic delay here from Cloud9, waiting until they can get the 10.
Both bottom laners now are rotating out, so keep in mind, all they're going to do is delay, and then King Caffeine, there's the site, look for a hook. Look for site, then hook, site and hook. And that's all they're going to be doing here is trying to zone with the hooks as long as they can from Cloud9. The fish in the barrel strat now coming into play.
Definitely. And of course, Mosh Pit is available here. He does go into the middle there, no follow-up. It does look like, fantastic job from Brightwing there. The very clutch Shadow Stalk is not enough to save Thrall. However, what a poly from Brightwing to avoid getting sundered there.
Yeah, no, the deny of the Sunder is really what won them that fight. Glarong knew what he needed to do to win this team fight. The longer they sit around and risk a hook, the more likely they are to lose a team fight. He sat in that chokehold above his opponents looking to get the Sunder. You saw Caterpillar moving in for the mosh pit directly after the Sunder, but he kind of hesitated. He got sighted a little bit, and he kind of panicked, didn't initiate. His reinitiation later after Caterpillar had already committed. Brightwing sees him and then instantly polymorphs. Great job from Martha there to return this game into their favor. Tribute's going to be spawned 2-2. No boss is going to be threatened quite yet. Giants did end up taking quarter of the health on the fort on bottom. Knight's going to be taken, but it's not going to really separate a team too far from the other. Toronto running the Shadow Stock, no crazy ults. Archon was not the case for Tassadar here, so again, fish in the barrels, zone, polymorph, CC is all is what it's going to come down to. Glarong, though, risky positioning. He is sighted.
Yeah, it does look like he's going to be able to get away here. Stitches was, of course, positioning so they could check on the boss, but once they had accounted for everybody, there was no need. It does look like we're going to see a large push here from Cognitive on the center, and they are going to stop. No, they are going to go ahead and finish off the cannon there to get more of an XP advantage. Going into the next set of tributes, the next tribute is a curse, and whoever gets the 13 first here is going to have the advantage.
Absolutely, and expect that if the curse spawns a huge positional advantage for one team, the other team's just going to back out and take boss. Here we go. Tribute's going to spawn on the lower half of the map. Cognitive is backing out a little bit. It does look like they're going to rotate rather than ignore it and go to the upper half. Everyone is rotating early here to try and get to this. The XP advantage is going to be really in favor of neither team. It's just going to all come down to this team fight here. Sonya's going to be a little bit late, but keep in mind, delay hook. That's all we're going to be looking for here. King Caffeine baiting out the draw. See, even King Caffeine, he's not even going to like have the intent to cap it. He's just baiting his opponent to overextend so he can get a hook. That's all he's trying to do here.
And he does manage to get one onto Thrall. Fantastic wall like we saw previously. There comes the answered Sunder. Polymorph's already gone out. Here comes the Shadow Stock. Huge Maw here. Cawthon hits no one. Caterpillar is running away. He does manage to get Slide, and with Rainer's Raiders, they are going to be forced to back off. Arthalon is going to secure this curse. If no, great delay there from Toronto. I don't think they're going to be able to follow up on this, though, and Arthalon is going to secure this curse.
Yeah, and I think their team fight, not only did Glarong get hooked, and his Sunder didn't actually get canceled, so we got pretty lucky there. But really, oh, great pickup there. Sorry, I missed out on that. Zagar's going to end up going down here. Cloud9's going to be pushing as best they can. Brightwing's going to split push bottom. The rest of the team's going to split push on mid here. Smart decision making from them, trying to maximize the value of this curse. You never want a team fight during this time. So what happened is essentially Glarong getting hooked, and even though the Sunder came out as a counter engage, if he's not the one hooked, he has a lot more success in his team fight after that point. And also, without Chain Bomb, I feel like just overall, Cognitive doesn't really have the composition to deal with a good hook. They need a good Sunder, they need a good Chain Bomb, and then they need a good counter initiation between Sunder, Chain Bomb, and Mosh Pit is really what it's going to come down to, and they didn't have any of those things in that team fight. Unless they do, a good hook is all it's going to take to lose with this comp. Like I said, very linear, but also great at what they do.
Certainly, and as you mentioned, bosses play such a big part in this role. Both teams electing to go for that last tribute meant that both bosses are still going to be up. I'm interested to see, surely a team fight will break out here shortly, and I want to see who ends up getting the advantage so they can grab the next boss and the advantage.
Yeah, the 13th tier being picked up now for Cognitive. It does catch them up a little bit. Notice how Tassadar checking the boss, trying to get sight as best he can. The Owl coming out to see if anybody's trying to backdoor the boss on the lower half of the map. And typically after tributes, look at top lane. See how much XP is up there? Typically, yeah, the boss is going to be taken by Cloud9 here because on top half of the map, there's so much XP. You automatically express. One person has to go up there to soak, otherwise you lose XP, and then you go to take your boss. Iacona understands that. They call for a boss because if they fall too far behind on this cap, they'll end up contesting both bosses here. So it's going to be a casual trade here. Level advantage and 16 tier advantage is going to fall for Cloud9. Smart play from both teams, but it really, in my opinion, comes down to just who gets hooked and how long they can delay. And really, I think we need to see more Glarong flanks, especially once they both hit 16. Obviously, the fishing hook is a terror for the time being, but once they hit 16, wait to flank. And there needs or etc. Somebody has to flank. They can't sit back and wait for the hooks to come out with fishing hook.
Definitely. When you have a Stitches Tassadar combo, you can't wait for the fight to come to you. If they have the opportunity to choose that engagement, they're always going to go for the hook. And if they land one, you're immediately going to be fighting at a disadvantage. I really want to see Cognitive go in hard in the next engagement. You cannot wait for Stitches to get that hook, or you're going to fight at such a severe disadvantage it's going to be impossible to come back in the fight.
Absolutely. It's and essentially every time a hook comes out on a prime target, it forces Cognitive to initiate as hard as they possibly can, no matter how smooth it's going to be. It just forces you to do that with their type of composition that Cloud9's running here. So hopefully they do that. Like for instance, we didn't see a Mosh the last time that happened. It's not saying that, and we also didn't have Chain Bomb, so that was relevant. Here comes the site. King Caffeine's going to be looking for the hook here.
Oh man, King Caffeine definitely going to be trying to get a hook. It looks like Caterpillar is going to try and stay to get that, which it may prove fatal. No, fantastic counter. Looks like Caterpillar dives in one more time. I guess maybe he was looking for the Mosh, but does not get it. And that's going to give his time, or no, excuse me, his team time to escape. Oh, did he
got force walled the first time. He dashed out after the wall went down and got hooked back. C9 making the smart choice here. They're going to get mid for free here, half the front wall. They're taking the front wall on top. They have 16 tier advantage still for the time being, capitalizing that maximum value. They have nobody to backdoor this tribute right now, and because of how much C9 has the waves pushing in their favor, except for bottom lane, that's the only lane they can really sneak a capture of this tribute. So tribute's going to go in favor of Cloud9 here. Front top keep wall is going to be going down. Arthlon has been soaking this entire time. Oh, look at that chain bomb.
Oh my goodness.
Huge, Ma. Holy.
Absolutely ridiculous, Ma. I want to see the follow-up here. It's got to be big. Glorung does take him out. Immediately goes on to K1 Pro. K1 Pro with his W, not enough to get away. Sonya eating a lot of damage here. Uses Wrath of the Berserker to try and minimize that CC. The wall comes out. Not enough to keep him, but they do get a 2-for-0 trade. Fantastic job of turning that around from Cognitive.
Okay. This is an absolutely crucial moment for Cognitive. This is one of the only moments they're going to have to be able to come back in this game, and they need to get a lot out of this. Sending one person to deal with those giant smart decision-making. They got the fort on bottom for free. They see Sonya down there. It looks like they're going to take this fort. As long as they just try and siege up and make something happen, force the fight if they possibly can, but they cannot just sit back and not force really hard, really over their opponents right now. I would like to see even go for a keep wall with the comp. Like I said, just sitting back. Patience is the worst enemy if you are Cognitive, especially when you get a small lead there. It was sad to see those Giants pushing on top to force him to back there, so they do end up only walking away with a fort. The Giants got the fort on bottom. They do have tribute advantage, but without bosses up at that point in time, they really just had nothing to capitalize on and don't really have the comp to totally, like for instance with Sylvanas, siege as hard as you can and really make something happen there.
Definitely, and I can't get over the combined play of Faye with that backdraft into that Maw, and they do manage to isolate again. Oh, Faye does get grabbed, but no polymorph follow-up. She manages to walk away. Bile is used by King Caffeine, but to really no avail. It looks like that's ultimate use there, and they're going into the tribute that's going to decide a curse for Cognitive.
And Brightwing's on the lower half of the map. She's going to look to come in. Look at, there's the site. There's the hook.
Amazing hook. Fantastic job. Are we going to see a shadow? No, actually, the Sunder comes out. Glorung going heavily in here. Caterpillar tries to get the Mosh off. Fantastic poly is going to completely invalidate it. Glorung's trying to run away. The Maw catches one. Looks like iDream is going to be able to back off here. 5 up for K. Oh my goodness, what a hook onto Glorung. Glorung goes down. Now a huge advantage here for Cloud9, swinging completely the other direction.
Absolutely. Now they do have the lead in the race to 20 in their favor. They don't have much. Catan luck actually might be going down here. There's going to be a force wall if he goes up. That's a bad route to go, boys. He's going to get hooked instead here, and he is going to be looking to go down. So that is going to be another pick here. See if Cloud9 tries to capitalize by taking a keep. They know they need to make something happen. A couple more picks even they could throw for legal here. They don't have Hyperion, Raiders to try and get extra damage onto the core there. They are going to look to siege up here. Like this call very much. Bosses aren't going to be up for another 41 seconds. Expect Cloud9 to be trying to make a big play, whether it be on theirs or their opponents, as fast as possible. Boss timings are absolutely crucial to the success here. But really what came down to that last team fight is there again was a hook and no
hook onto Faye. Faye has no shield. She's going to go down quickly. The downside to backdraft, no defense when she gets hooked there. Arthlon taking a lot of damage, but it looks like she is going to be able to get away. Here comes Caterpillar. He's going to have to back off. I know he wants to push the issue here, but he just does not have the support to try and pick someone right now.
That kill meant more than it looked. What that did was not only ensure the race to 20 be led even harder by Cloud9, the tribute spawns as a free tribute, which is a free curse. And not only that, with one keep down and the curse is going to be in your favor, now that's going to lead to a boss. One boss is going to lead to another keep and potentially game. One boss is also going to lead to potential to contest 2 different bosses. Cognitive, brilliant shot calling right now. They realize that they're going to try and take that boss. What I would like to see out of Cloud9 is actually a feign to fate the core. But they do realize that they're going to trade bosses here. Smart decision making from them. Arthalon going to double check. The Owl is going to ensure he understands. They are taking the smart boss there. So really well done by Cognitive, understanding that they have to trade bosses when down a man. But it might not be enough. This is going to be an 18-minute boss. It's going to take a couple of picks in order to ensure a kill on the core here for Cloud9. These bosses aren't that strong early on, but here you go. They're going to threaten damage on the core as soon as possible, trying to bait their opponent to back out.
Oh, Faye grabbed. That could prove disastrous here. Fantastic bile from King Caffeine. Faye does manage to get around back to the safety of her keep. Her team has beat back, and it looks like they're going to try and get some counter picks here. Great Sunder from Thrall to isolate. King Caffeine goes down. Superb Lunar Flare. Dunk Train taking a lot of damage. K1 Pro trapped between a rock and a hard place. It looks like Iacona is going to go down, however, and they are forced to stay back and defend this boss.
Yeah, and Arthalon ended up dying too on the bottom boss there, trying to kind of mess around with his opponents there. So what this did lead to is Cognitive, excuse me, ended up getting a little bit out of this. There is going to be a little bit of true damage on the core, only 7%, not that much to be worried about here this early in the game. But their boss instead is going to be pushing the bottom keep. No keep. That's the first keep that's going to be open, and now kill potential for the core is finally kind of open for Cognitive. But they just have so few minutes to get it. The only thing really going in favor of Cognitive right now is number one, they have Stitches down for 25 seconds, but there isn't much to capitalize on. You see also with Toronto down, they aren't getting that many marks in the process of, but the number two, bosses are down and curses up. So what that means is now they have 3 minutes and 50 seconds to try and get a curse over their opponents, which means out of the next 4 tributes, they only need 1 to make that happen. That curse will lead to a potential kill, potential on core, just because it will get a free keep on its own. But this is a tough spot if you are Cognitive. Yes, they get a couple of moments of hope there, a silver lining if you win this game with those picks, but really, what did they gain from it? They don't have a keep. They don't have any opportunity to even backdoor threaten. Their core has 7% damage on it. This is still a long road home for Cognitive to walk away with this game.
Absolutely. And you know what? Both of these teams are super hungry. The fight here for the next tribute, I think, is going to be monumental. I don't think either team is willing to let this tribute go. Cognitive may have a little more leniency or a little more leeway as far as not having to go for this tribute, but you know they are hungry for it. All they need is one more tribute, and they could possibly seize this game. They're certainly going to need a pick or two to make sure that they can seal the deal. But if anybody can do it against Cloud9, Cognitive has shown that they are here, and they are certainly capable of putting the rubber to the road against Cloud9.
Absolutely. Again, 2 minutes and 30 seconds till the bosses for this map. That is absolutely crucial information to know. Bosses essentially are one of the only kill potentials onto the core here. No keeps are going to be taken for Cognitive. They're still on the back foot. You see this siege up by C9. They actually aren't trying to force. What they're trying to do is get the group of Cognitive to group up and Tassadar to get, or excuse me, not Tassadar, but Stitches to get a really good hook. Caterpillar overextending a little bit there. Care for the hook right now onto Faye. She's in the chokehold that she should not be in. Oh. But she doesn't get hooked there. In between the fort and the turret, there is an easy place to get hooked, and that's right where she walked.
Definitely. It looks like Glarung being a little more offensive here, coming out, trying to get the doggy onto King Caffeine. King Caffeine says, I'm allergic to mutts, and mutters on away. It looks like the entire team is coming over. Great zoning there from Dunk Train, making sure that Glarung cannot stay mounted as he tries to get to the tribute. It looks like they are doing everything they can to zone this out. They do not want to concede this tribute. They don't want to go up against the curse. Fantastic job from Cloud9 in making sure this is an easy grab for them.
I think Cloud9, even though they are facing a Tassadar with mental, or excuse me, a Cognitive, even though they are facing a Tassadar with mental acuity, it needs to find some kind of flank. They can't keep dealing with this poke there. The Shadow Stalk counter engage was really well done. Hopefully they can make something happen with this. There they go. They understand Tassadar's sight coming out, revealing a couple. They need something like that. They need to be making a play somewhere when there isn't a major map objective up, because as you've seen, they have such a good composition against it with that fish in the barrel strategy.
Yeah.
This is really, really hard to deal with if you are Cognitive, but they just needed to be trying to make a little bit more aggressive plays rather than being the one hooked on. I want to see them the one saying, we don't care, we're flanking, we're getting killed. Tassadar going to overextend a little bit here, but he has double E build. Keep that in mind.
Oh, and the blink from Thrall, very, very aggressive. He's going to have to back off here. It looks like he's getting collapsed on. He does get his ult out, which does put them into the chokehold. ETC forced to use his blink to get out of there. iDream is going to back off. It looks like Arthalon taking a ton of damage, but she is going to live thanks to the shield.
This is the turning point. Cognitive has to force this fight. This is one of the only times they're going to have an advantage to try and force the fight and make something happen here. The health bars, look at Arthalon at half, King Caffeine at half. They are going to zone, but they need to be forcing. They understand that this tribute is absolutely crucial. Nobody's going to be able to delay K1 Pro, so this will go to theirs, and they aren't even going to manage to get the team fight. This strategy is very, very hard to deal with, and Cognitive doing everything they can to try and make a comeback. Care for the hook here on Icona.
Man, ETC playing with fire, showing just that. Oh, King
6
Caffeine.
seconds on boss, by the way. Top boss spawning, 14 on the bottom one.
King Caffeine just barely missing that hook. As you mentioned, Cloud9 is doing such a great job on zoning them out, making sure that they do not have a hope of getting to that tribute. Earlier, they were up 2-0 as far as tributes go. Caterpillar revealing where he is. Here comes the hook, of course. Thrall immediately put down. Polymorph comes. Here comes the Lunar Flare. The Polymorph.
The chain bomb?
Chain bomb does go out. Oh, the dance gets 3 people. Caterpillar looking to hold them still. They do not manage to get any kills out of it, however. Fantastic dance, but to no avail. It looks like Cognitive still does have the advantage here, despite being down 5-4. The poly does go out onto Faye. Iacona so low. Glaurung gonna have to stick around and find his own death. That is a 3-for-1 trade, and I think Cloud9 smells blood in the water.
Yeah, so whoever gets this, if Cloud9 gets this tribute, the Maw flank behind, trying to make something happen. Cathon Luck understanding he has to do something here for his team to win. Hook's going to come out here. The tribute's going to be captured by Cloud9. There is almost 0 delay for this, so 97% on the core, there, or 93, excuse me. This curse is going to ensure the fact that boss is not only with kill potential on the map, this curse is going to apply pressure. Mid keep's going to go down on its own. Bottom keep is going to be threatened and most likely go down on its own by the end of the curse. Now, boss is going to be taken for Cloud9 here. There is no Maw to potentially threaten this here. Shadowstock might come out in 26 seconds, but it's not going to be late enough. This is a 23-minute boss that is going to be threatening core. If Faye gets a huge backdraft, they have a chance. If not, this is going to be really rough.
Yeah, Faye is going all in right here to try and do anything that she can. She had no choice but to try and make this play. She almost got a Stitches for her trouble, but it looks like they are going to be able to clean up Zagara as well. And that is going to be disastrous for Cognitive. They've had a great showing here. The game is not over yet. Caterpillar is showing himself, but they are going in one at a time, and that's never going to be a good strategy. They just have no choice right now.
No, they had no choice. That was really good double out of there. The Mosh is not up for 28 seconds. If they wait that long, there might be a big play here. The Sunder attempt there to make something happen on K1 Pro. That might be enough. He does barely get out there. Raiders coming out 58% on the core.
Oh my goodness, fantastic picks here. Cognitive making some fantastic plays, but it is not going to be enough. It does look like Dreadnought has left the game, but regardless of that, the boss is still getting wailed on. Caterpillar goes in, he's immediately polymorphed, he's going to go down. That is going to be a free boss here for Cloud9, and they're going to push with that. That probably is going to spell the end of the game unless Cognitive can put something ridiculous together. Wow, and the good game's called there from Cognitive. They are going to be able to go in and finish this game. What a match. So glad you guys could join us here today for that. Cloud9 coming away with the win, 2-1 versus Cognitive.